Today in this episode of Bulldog TV, we feature many informative subjects, such as a short film and commentary.
Bulldog TV starts now.
Have you heard about the new attendance policy going around SHS? Edgar, Carlos, and Maverick give us more information.
When students returned to school after winter break, they found out the attendance policy has changed. Students went from being allowed a minimum of 10 days to 8. One of the reasons that the attendance policy has changed was due to students taking advantage of Saturday school.
Really, the only change is that we're not going to be as generous as we are in the past as we assigned them. It's not fair to those students that show up every day. And so we need students to understand that there's a limit to the number of days they can miss and be able to make it up at Saturday school. And they'll have to work that out with the assistant principal. That's their grade level. But, when you get up to 20 absences in the class, probably not going to be very, generous as far as allowing them to go to Saturday school to make it up. And the other thing is, if they've got to go to night school to make up a credit, if they're not going to go to school during the day, it's hard for us to understand why they should get the privilege of getting to go to night school to make up credits. It's not that we're trying to, I want to stress something, it's not that we're trying to keep people from graduating. That's far from the fact. But fortunately, anything you do after high school, you're going to have to be there. Attendance, punctuality is something that's important in the workplace. It's something important when you go to college. For us to allow students to make up credit and reap the rewards of credit, but learning bad habits of not showing up to school, is really creating a habit for them that's going to hurt them later on in their lives. And so we're not trying to do this as being mean or anything. We're trying to help students understand that part of success is just showing up. And we need people to show up as much as possible to school. Now, if you're sick, you're sick. You don't need to be here. But if you're borderline, you need to try to come to school, and you need to work out arrangements with your family and with employers to come to school as much as possible.
While overall attendance is better, Mr. Jinks has a goal he wants the school to reach.
We had a better year this year. I was very proud of this semester, but we still had in this school probably over 250 students that lost one credit in a class. Now, some of those students lost credit in every one of their classes. Some of them lost credit in one class. But, we want to get that number way down. It would be my hope and goal that after we started doing this, we would be down below 50.
Losing credits can put you behind. While there are ways to recover missing credits, the school has decided to follow a strict.
I think the quickest and easiest way is to go to night school. Night school provides a great opportunity for them, especially that's free, that they can go make up credit in their class. But once again, if they continue the problem of not showing up at school and then showing up for night school, that's going to eventually catch up to them because it becomes a never-ending habit. So we're playing this constant, cycle of I don't show up for class today, so I'm going to go to night school at night to make up for credits from previous semester, and now I'm going to have to go to night school the next semester to make up for credits for the classes I missed this semester, and so it's just a never-ending cycle. And then we roll into our senior year, and everybody gets panicky because I don't have enough credits to graduate. What are you going to do? And there's only so much we can do. State law says they've got to be in school at all times unless they've got a good excuse, being sick, legal, medical reasons, stuff like that. So, technically, if you don't come to school without a good reason, you're violating the law, state law.
SHS has decided to follow a stricter guidelines and provide an attendance incentive.
If they haven't missed more than 4 days in a class in a semester, then they have options of what they want to do during semester test time coming up this second semester in May. So they would have the option, if they have less than 4 or less absences in a class, to be able to have more time. They'll be able to take their test earlier than the prescribed day they'd have to take their semester final, and that would allow them to have extra time to be able to study for another test, to get additional help. If they would like to help others to study for tests, they could use that time to be in the library and help tutor students. And it goes 2 or 3 different things, up to the point where if they wanted to shadow someone who's in a career area that they're interested in, they could take that day to be able to do something like that.
From Bulldog TV, I'm Edgar.
If you want to know more about your attendance, please refer to the eSchool page on our website.
Seniors, since you are almost done, why don't you give our juniors your advice on how to pull through senior year? Daniela and Alma tell us more.
Worst thing about being a junior is when people start asking you what are your plans after high school. Like, come on, I don't even know what I'm going to have for lunch. How about we ask some prepared seniors? One thing I can't run away from is the ACT. Now that's a total nightmare. But we have to get into college somehow.
Some good ways to prepare for the ACT are attending the ACT boot camps. They really help a lot, and taking practice tests as much as you can.
Senioritis, a supposed affliction of students in their final year of high school characterized by a decline in motivation.
I've had senioritis for a while now, and I guess I didn't deal with it the good way. I just let it overtake, but in the end I kind of regret slacking off and not getting the best of my grades and doing all my work. And just a tip for you guys is show up to school and do all your work and try your best.
Yes, I have gotten senioritis. It's so hard to deal with, but just know what you want to do with your life and actually strive for what you want to do.
I'm not a senior yet and I get senioritis. Everyone gets to be a senior at one point in their life, hopefully.
If you are scared about your senior year, go ahead and ask one of your fellow seniors how they made it through.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these important messages. Now that we are back, here's an informative video about our principals. Hunter and Steve tell us more about it.
There are many individuals who keep our school moving every day. Management crew, cafeteria workers, office staff, counselors, and teachers, and our principals like Assistant Principal Mr. Myers. Myers is the 11th grade principal at Springdale High School, but before being a principal, Mr. Myers was the East facilitator.
I was an East facilitator before I was a principal, and we did a lot of cool projects in East, and I miss working with the GIS maps and the 3D printers and the Oculus Rift and all that stuff, that was a lot of fun to play around with the students. And so I do miss being in the classroom, but I like where I'm at the same time.
There is no doubt that our principals stay busy and are constantly scheduling events.
I plan my day out using Google Calendar and Google Tasks and Gmail. One of the things I really like about being a principal is that every day is different. No 2 days are the same. Most days, I start out by making IDs down in the cafeteria from 8:20 to 8:40, and that's how I start my day. Well, after I come in and check my email and do stuff like that, then I go down to the cafeteria and make IDs. And then, one day I may be working on teacher evaluations where I have to go into classrooms and do observations, and then, the teacher and I discuss, what they're doing in the classroom. And some days I may be dealing with student discipline, and I'll call students up that maybe they're being tardy a lot, and I'll ask them, hey, what's going on? Why are you tardy so much? Or why are you missing school? And just try to get an idea of what we can do to help them be more successful.
Being a principal is a lot of work, but there are some good benefits of being a principal.
I like being a principal because I like working with students. I like working with teachers. I like working with the other administrators, which we have. We have a great administrative team. I love working with Mr. Jinks and Mr. Eichenberger and Mr. Gladden and Mrs. Fott. We have a really good time together, and I feel like we get a lot of good stuff done. And it's just nice going home at the end of the day and feeling like you're doing something to help students and to help people learn. And so I that's what I like, is just the at least feeling like I'm doing something meaningful.
Principal at SHS has a constant job in the school, and how they help out.
We have 5 principals. Mr. Jinks is the head principal. He's the head honcho. He's the big boss man. We have Mr. Eichenberger, who he is in charge of all the seniors. I am in charge of all the juniors. Mr. Gladden is in charge of all the sophomores, and Mrs. Fott is in charge of all the special services.
The principal's schedule is always changing. It never stays the same.
Each day, like most days, I do IDs to start the day. Most days, I end the day at the bus lot. But, when I wake up in the morning, I may have an idea of what I'm going to be doing that day, but that may change by 9 o'clock because something may be going on. There may be a parent that shows up and wants some help, or a student that shows up and is concerned about something, and so they come into my office, and I try to keep my door open and be available to people who have concerns or problems, and I just try to help out as much as I can. And if that means that I have to stop planning for testing, or if that means that I have to interrupt an observation that I'm doing, then I try to help when I can.
Can be busy. There is no doubt that our Bulldogs make it work. From Bulldog TV, I am Hunter.
Becoming a principal is not easy as it seems.
Here is a great short film by our Bulldog TV team. Alondra and I showcase what we did.
There's nothing special about me, but then I came across this note by accident. I thought nothing about it. Maybe someone left it behind or it fell. As I walked to my locker for some papers, there was another note. It seemed that someone was following my every move, waiting for me to play along. So I turned around, and there was this box. I walked forward, seeing another note telling me to open it. I wasn't in the mood for anything, so I threw it behind, forgetting everything else. Later that day, I had gotten a new locker, but the notes continued. This time, I followed along, turning around once again to be faced with the same box. I bent down, leaving the note behind to open it. It was a simple gift, and I liked it, so I wore it. Nothing bad could have happened anymore, right? As I was opening my locker to leave, a stranger laid his hand on me. I froze, knowing that this would be the last time I would be free. After that, I was never seen again. But for him, he moved on.
From Bulldog TV, I'm Emily.
And I'm Adrian. Keep it classy, Springdale.